Welcome back. We're about to get underway at the IAME Grants 2022 edition with your X30 Senior Shootout this afternoon. We're now going to send it down here to Xander Clements with our driver introductions.
Well, it's about that time again. The crowd is here, and we've got 15 of North America's best ready to go. First up, the 15th seed in tonight's MG Tires X30 Pro Shootout. The X30 Master pick dominant this weekend for Rollison Performance Group, Ben Cooper! The 14th seed, getting in off the Kart Chaser official fan vote. A privateer with the SRX racing experience aboard an OTK. Number 17, Ashley Rojero Butcher. The 13th seed is the first of our three promoter picks. Out of St. Cloud, Florida, driving a Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart. The 13th seed, Jeremy Fletcher! The 12th seed, Mr. $5,000 from last night, trying to go 10K in 2 nights. Seed number 12 for Team GWR Tony Kart, Connor Zilish! In seed number 11, and the third of the 3 promoters picks, for MPG Motorsports, Will Power Kart from Gahanna, Ohio. Number 41, Braden Eves. And moving on to the top 10 that have transferred in off the heat points. It's your 10th seed from Rollison Performance Group, driving a Cosmic, Brian Boley. Your 9th seed here, driving Speed Concepts Racing CRG, Paulie Massimino. Your 8th seed here, the privateer sensation from 2021, driving a Kart Chaser livery OTK, Dalton Haynes. Your 7th seed, another privateer, the whiteout number 1 go-kart, a rookie standout, Adam Brickley. And in the 6th seed, driving a Rollison Performance Group Cosmic, number 382, Nate Cicero. The 5th seed, your top 5 in heat points today. Another rookie that's made the field, driving a Speed Concepts Racing CRG, Aiden Ingrata. 4th seed here tonight, earned his nickname in 2021 as the Silent Assassin, driving for Rollison Performance Group, Hayden Jones. In the 3rd seed, one of the top contenders tonight, and finally back on the wheel of an X30 Pro machine after winning Pro Kart Championship, K.A. Senior, number 3 on the seed, number 399 on the kart, Alex Stanfield. And then there were 2 more to make up your 15 kart field. Your 2nd seed, again part of one of the most impressive rookie classes we've seen, driving a Mike Doty Racing, Brandon Jarsacrack Racing, Lando Norris kart, number 318, Justin Ataconis. And finally, the winningest X30 Pro driver, modern era, 7-time Pro National Champion, looking to go back-to-back on the main events, but he hasn't won this one yet. Number 1, Ryan Norberg. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the grid is set. Your 15 G Tires X30 Pros ready to get after it.
So that is going to be your starting field this afternoon for your X30 Senior Shootout here this afternoon. $5,000 are up for grabs here on this beautiful fall night in Mooresville at GoPro Motorplex. The sun is down, the lights are up, and it is about to get a little bit more hectic here this afternoon. Alternate layouts are going to be in effect, so it is going to be all down to drivers and learning how they can run it. Now you can see now drivers are making their way to their karts right now, and they're starting to get strapped up. They're about to go out for their 8-minute warm-up session. There is Braden Eves getting strapped up in his MPG WPK chassis, about to get underway. So they're going to have 8 minutes. No one has ran this layout before, and with the track getting a little bit colder here as it's gone a little bit silent for the past hour, it is going to be nice and cool and a nice green track to try to figure out things for not only themselves, but what adjustments their teams are going to have to make. They're going to get 10 minutes in between each session on track to make any changes that they need, maybe adjustments that may have to go down. We saw yesterday in the KA there was a lot of different type of strategy going into play as far as who was going to change what. Gear changes are going down, and also driver data was something big that they had to look into as well. So now you can see the crew and the teams are around the drivers right now trying to see maybe just a little bit of a last-minute advice of what they're going to give them on track. Xander Clements is back in the booth. And Xander, a little bit more people down here. It could be because of the temperature. It could be because no one has ever ran this layout before, and it's going to get very exciting.
It will be exciting. Quick announcement here for the drivers in the paddock. 3-minute warning here. 3 minutes before they are underway with the practice. So the driver intro's done. The field set for what will be an entertaining night of racing. And like you said, the crowd getting into it there. A much bigger crowd here tonight. Temperature's a little bit warmer, maybe about 5 degrees than where we were back 24 hours ago for that KA shootout. But you add on top of that, again, this class has so many storylines going into it. Ryan Norberg has been the man to beat all year long and for the last really 18 months. And because of that, he's got a big target on his back. As there goes the 2-minute warning here for everyone on the circuit. You go through the field, there's not really a big name not on the grid for tonight's X30 shootout. The provisionals getting in Braden Eves, Connor Zilish, Jeremy Fletcher. The KC fan vote getting in Ashley Rohero Butcher, Ben Cooper. Won the Supernats in X30 Pro Senior just a couple years ago. It should be no surprise to anyone if he's able to come away with a heat race win on a brand new layout here tonight. We're going to see what the times look like here in this opening practice session. Again, they don't have to go for all of it, but there's no hot grid during the session. So the drivers are going to run an alternate layout, and we will get our drone up in the air shortly to be able to show you the layout that they will be running here for the practice session. But 15 drivers, best of the best, making it in. Such a cool show, such a cool event. It gets everybody excited. It lines the fences, and it puts on some great TV here for us.
Absolutely. We're talking about with the track change. This is then going to turn into very much a driver's track. And what that means, all the long straightaways that we typically see have gone down to 1. And even then, the rundown that they have in a turn 1 and turn 2 is gone. They're going to go straight out of a hard braking zone, then into that short little chute before the long back straightaway. So the draft is going to go down to approximately 0. It's going to be a little bit of a factor, but it's going to be all down to who can learn the quickest and then whose team can get their kart set up the fastest in order to make it more comfortable for them. But even then, with the changing in temperatures, everything else that's going into it, it is going to be an all hectic 10 minutes that they get to try to make any adjustments possible to get themselves underway. And something else too, the way that they line up the heat races, same as yesterday, it's by a pill draw. Whatever number you get, that's where you start in heat race number 1. But if you're in heat race number 2, they're going to invert it. So if you start on pole for the first heat race, you're then going to start in the back for heat race number 2. Vice versa, start in the back of heat race number 1, you're then going to start on pole for heat race number 2.
And again here, the thing to keep in mind as well for both of the heat races is just the simple fact that with the field having to learn a whole new layout, they only get 10 minutes between each one. They're going to get 12 minutes after this first practice session to work on stuff just a little bit. So we'll see if they're able to make some major adjustments on that regard and what kind of changes are going to happen. We saw Team Nitro Kart come down, helped out the BJR MDR camp with Christian Miles and company by bringing a chassis table down to the pit lane for them to straighten out his go-kart. And now we're going to see everyone at least get a full practice session in. Shouldn't have wholesale changes after the first session, but we're going to find out. Now let's put our drone up in the air and let's show you what our layout will look like here tonight. They're going to head out onto the racetrack here and head out onto the full layout into turn number 4. That is normal, right? Everything they go from turn 1 over to turn number 4. Here's where it starts to change. Exit at turn number 4, that'll be a 180-degree hairpin, double apex left-hander, sends him onto the short chute to the front straightaway. Then they'll climb the hill, go up the hill into the final corner, down the front stretch, and into turn number 1. That hairpin is halfway down the normal front straightaway, which means our timing loop has completely changed as well. It puts them back into turn number 8 once they go through turn number 1. Then they go into what would normally be turn number 9. Right here, they're going to go straight across the racetrack into another 180-degree switchback hairpin corner, and then a long sweeping 180-degree turn number 1 complex that takes them back onto the racetrack. It uses 95% of the asphalt put down on the original layout, and on top of that, it also puts them in a completely different racing environment. So they still have that long backstretch, but everything's new. Nobody knows what it's going to be like. And let's go ahead and we'll show you some of the other angles we've got here tonight as they go on through out of turn number 4. They'll make their way up the hill to the final turn, and we can give you an idea of what to expect here for your MG Tires X30 Shootout. And we'll slowly be pulling up in a moment as well the live timing. But the first group out on the racetrack, one thing interesting to me right now is Dalton Haynes in the KC livery. He is elected to sit out for at least the beginning part of this practice session. So Dalton Haynes, the 8th seed coming in, right now learning by watching, not going out there and hitting the laps himself. And you can see some of the barriers have been taken out, but everyone else is running out there. The interesting part here, they're trying to do a little bit of tire strategy because it is one full set of MG tires they've got to run this entire session, or all 4 sessions here. You can't use any other tires. Dalton Haynes elects to sit out. Well, it might give him a tire advantage while he lets everyone else do the heavy lifting for him if he can guess what the setup is and is driving. But that's a big risk here, Caleb.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I would have taken that one. I mean, yes, you do get to save your tires, but at the same time, no one has ran this layout before. There's already been rubber put down. There's only 1 or 2 corners that haven't been ran in, so it shouldn't be too abrasive on their tires. So, yes, they save it about a heat cycle, maybe about 5 to 10 laps in total, but I'm not quite sure if that's going to be the best alternative to take, as we have one of the Cosmics, looks like
that's Ryan Norberg. He was also late to go out on the racetrack, so I think interesting.
Same strategy for him. I think that might be the way to do it. Wait the first 5 or 6, as it looks like there's another right behind him as well. I think that may be, if I'm not mistaken,
that was Ben Cooper going out behind him. So Ben Cooper going out late as well. They're going to let everybody else do all the work. So Braden Eves leading this big group. There's Adam Brickley in line, Justin Ataconis. Here's Nate Cicero making a pass. Ashley Rojero Butcher right behind. And down into turn number 1, you can hear through the speakers here the getting low onto the power. It's a much different sound when they come by our announcer stand now where we're at. And here's a live look at Dalton Haynes and his crew just kind of taking things in just in front of us here. We're right behind him with our broadcast camera. And Dalton Haynes in the Kart Chaser livery, they are electing to sit out the practice to try and get better tire wear in the heat races. So very interesting to see that move done. We saw, again, Ryan Norberg, Ben Cooper going out a little bit late. Let's give you an update of where everybody sits on lap time so far, Caleb.
Yeah, so going down through the order right now, it's Nate Cicero currently the fastest on track. He is running at 39.899 was his fastest. Brian Boyle currently sitting P2 at Justin Anacones in the 3rd spot. Alex Stanfield up into P4 right now. Hayden Jones on the RPG Cosmic sitting in the 5th spot. Paulie Massimino is dead set in the middle of the field in the 6th spot. Jeremy Fletcher currently sitting in P7 with Aiden Grad in 8th. Adam Brickley currently running in 9th overall. Ashley Rojero Butcher in the 10th spot with Braden Eves in 11th. Ben Cooper 12th, Ryan Norberg 13th, Dalton Haynes and Connor Zilich both not going on track, but it looks like Dalton Haynes was running back to the pits. I think he may be trying to go out halfway through.
Well, again, they've got to at least get out and take the green flag, so they're kind of keeping an eye on the time, and then they're going to fire him up. In fact, he's going out. Now it looks like behind us, there goes the number 14 of Dalton Haynes. He'll just use half the session, the second half, to go out on the racetrack. So he waited, watched for a minute or two just to see everybody else kind of learn it, and now if he goes out and he times it where he joins one of these bigger packs, he might be able to run with them, and they've already done a lot of work to try and learn the racetrack. There's Nate Cicero into the scale line, so Cicero going to pull in early, and Braden Eves now leads this grouping here as he sits 11th on the time charts. He only turned
problems for Dalton.
Oh, no. Very bad news there for Dalton
I think he threw a
Haynes.
chain maybe.
Yeah. He's going to try and reset it. He's on the access road here going into what was normally turn number 1. It's about midway through the racetrack now. So Dalton Haynes, you can see how far he is away from the crew, and he's going to try and push back into the pit lane, but he at least attempted to make the session, and now they are going to scramble as soon as they can get behind the wall. So this is Dalton Haynes on the KC Privateer Tony Kart operation, trying to go back up the hill here during the opening practice session as they have blown a chain like you imagine here, Caleb, and they're going to have to do some quick work here on the grid.
Yeah, they're currently about 4 minutes in right now, so if they can get that chain thrown back on, hopefully it's not anything more than that, then he'll be able to go out there and maybe learn just a little bit, as we're currently watching Justin Anaconis and Braden Eves going back and forth right now, swapping positions. And honestly, Xander, we were talking about before, it may be in your best interest to get behind a couple of these guys to figure out what they're doing differently than you, to come up with a common ground to figure out how to go even faster.
It is all monkey see, monkey do right now. I mean, there is so much of this racetrack that is so different than anywhere. I mean, the only familiarity part that they've really got is this section, like right here down the backstretch into turn number 4, and then going in the last turn. I mean, even the last turn, you're carrying different amounts of speed, so throw all your braking markers out the window. That middle section of the racetrack, when they go from the turn 8 hairpin going the normal way and everywhere else, I mean, that's all just wild. And there comes everybody in the pits in that entire grouping. Ashley Rojero Butcher is going to stay on the racetrack. She'll run another lap here through the turn 1 hairpin. Ben Cooper and Ryan Norberg will also come into the pit lane. So Rojero Butcher, the only one going to run this session to the end. Dalton Haynes tried to make it out, did not. And Connor Zilich did not score a time. Did he score in time?
No, he has not
score
been
a single time in the practice session. He has not been out there yet. I don't know if he'll suffer a penalty for not going out, if they did that on purpose, or if they had an issue for the 72. But Rojero takes a look back. She's by herself here in practice. Now, none of these drivers are going to get to work on those karts any bit earlier. We can go cut to a shot here really quickly of the overhead of the scales. They're held in the scale line until the session ends, and then when the session ends, the drivers are in the scales. That's when they will allow them to work on the go-karts. And Rojero will join them in the scale line now as she pulls on in. And then we're going to take our camera and run down the grid and try and get an idea of where everybody's at. First, we'd love to hear from Connor Zilich and Dalton Haynes' camp to see what happened to them. Here's a good look at Nate Cicero. He was the first one in the scale line along with Hayden Jones, and got a good amount of laps in for him, about half the session. So there they go, 12 minutes on the clock for the teams to go ahead and get the karts onto the stands and to work on them. Hayden Jones will cycle through. Jeremy Fletcher there in frame in that RPM Tony kart, one of the promoters' picks. And we'll see who we can talk to as we watch all the karts come on through the scale line.
Now, you see, this makes more sense of what all these drivers just did, where you go out for the first half and then pull it in early. I understand the hesitation to go out on track a little bit later and watch and see what everyone's doing, but in case of Dalton's case, they may have had an issue off the start. You now don't have any time to get that sorted through, and I'm not sure if they're just going to let this rest of the time run up, the rest of the 4 minutes that they have left to try to learn everything on track, and then start the clock for the 12 minutes to work on the kart, or if it starts as soon as they come off the track. So a little bit up in the air here. I don't think anyone anticipated ever to pull off before all the time was left. And as you said, Connor Zilich and Dalton Haynes, I think you just crossed the line. It does register they turned a lap, or at least they crossed the starting loop. So right now it's only Connor Zilich who hasn't turned a lap yet.
Yeah, so Connor Zilich, no laps turned there, at least over the timing loop. Braden Eves coming into frame. Here's Alex Stanfield in the 399. There's the number 1 of Adam Brickley. An independent operation for them aboard that whiteout Tony kart. Stanfield on the Team GWR Tony kart, teammates with Connor Zilich here in this event. So he'll at least have some data for Connor to learn from that session. But for Connor Zilich not getting out there at all, that's, again, just very puzzling to see. Braden Eves in the number 4 MPG Motorsports Will Power Kart will roll on through. He ran for, again, a good part of it along with Nate Cicero. Here's Brian Boley in the number 325 RPG Cosmic. He was the last one inside the top 10 to transfer in on points to get into the show, and he's part of the biggest team here tonight is RPG. They've got 5 team drivers in this field, so they've got the biggest pool of data and different setups they can try, including from that man right there, Mr. National number 1, Ryan Norberg in the 348. He, along with Ben Cooper, they went by themselves to go and learn the racetrack. They didn't want to go with the big group. They didn't want to show their hand. So for both of them, we'll see what they learned from each other and where they stacked in the lap times, because they only really did just a little bit. Again, Ben Cooper got up to 4th. Norberg ended up getting up to, well, no, that was, I think by, I don't know if we had it by time there. It was sort of by time. That was by position. So if we go by best lap, yeah, there we go. Norberg up to 4th. Ben Cooper on that session, he went 13th. And then Dalton Haynes, no laps. Connor Zilish, no laps. Quickest was Nate Cicero. Ashley O'Hara Butcher was 2nd. And Paulie Massimino was 3rd. Ryan Norberg 4th. Alex Stanfield was 5th. So we'll go down and see who we can chat with here to get an idea. There's Connor Zilish suited up. Obviously didn't get out there. He's chatting with his teammate under the Team GWR camp, Alex Stanfield, and both of them standing around Stanfield's kart to try and go over what's going on. Our Caleb Smock's going to investigate what we've got going on down in that camp. So now the, I believe, whistle sounding right there. That's when they can work on the go-karts. So they were all able to look. Now they can go ahead and make changes. You can see everybody's making a lot of wholesale changes on the karts all the way on through. Here we are with Zilish. So let's go ahead and chat with him here. Caleb's caught up with him. Caleb, go ahead.
Connor, tell us a little bit why you weren't on track and what's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree this is a special show, so that requires special strategy. So I kind of did my first half a lap, got the glaze off the tire and came in, and then I went out and watched what other people were doing, and I'm just gonna go out there and hope that I can adjust in a lap or two, because that's all it's gonna be. Just gonna go out there and do my best, but I thought it was gonna take something to win this.
Now, with the little half a lap that you did, tell us about the changes in the track and what, if you could learn anything besides trying to scrub the little bit of the glaze off the tires.
All I did was run from turn 1 to turn 4. I didn't get to do any of the different stuff, I guess you could call it. So it's going to be completely new to me.
All right, there it is. Connor Zilish trying something we haven't seen it before. See if we can't grab some more people. We're going to send it back in the booth with you for now, Xander.
Thank you, Caleb, here. So we'll go to the booth really quickly. And, again, Connor Zilish, interesting strategy, right? He and Dalton Haynes. I had one come up and ask me a question right now. The reason that there's a lot more tire strategy going on with this deal is that we're seeing ultimately the MG yellow tires being used versus the MG reds. Last night was the MG reds. That is a medium compound, not as soft, and has a little more longevity. These MG yellows, they're a little bit stickier of a tire, but they wear out. There's more tire degradation. So with that in mind, you know, you're going to have a little more of a benefit to having a few less laps on the tires. And like Connor Zilish said, he was hoping to just, you know, take that gamble. So that's what we've got as the field heads on through. Let's see who Caleb's going to catch up with. There's Dalton Haynes' camp. We got to figure out what went on with him. So let's go ahead and we'll chat with him. Caleb?
All right, so Dalton, tell us a little about the strategy, why he went out a little bit later, and what happened when he first went out.
Yeah, basically I pulled off grid and the engine mount was loose, so the chain just popped right off as soon as I got off the pits. So, I mean, it wasn't intentional for tires. I was planning on just saving the tires, doing kind of what Ben Cooper did, seeing the track out at the end when the track's nice and scuffed out. But, no, the chain just popped off. So, I mean, I guess it is better, no tires, or new tires. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't put any laps down in practice. At least Connor got one, but nah, it's okay. I saw what the other drivers were doing, so I'm just going to go in with a clear mindset.
Now, Connor Zilish he didn't have the same problem, but he had the same strategy about going out there. He didn't turn any laps whatsoever. Do you think you two may have a little bit more of an extra edge on everyone aside from the tires?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As soon as whoever learns the track the fastest, yeah, that's going to help them. But, I mean, if these tires fall off after 4 laps max, in the cold it'll help. They won't fall off as much. But, yeah, no, definitely. Having new tires will help me. Like I said, it wasn't intentional, but it will help.
All right, there it is. Dalton Haynes is going to be in the same boat as Connor Zilish, saving their tires. We're going to see if we can't talk to a couple more people, Xander.
Thank you, Caleb, here. We'll keep the eyes on you guys on the pit lane as, again, a frenzy as always here, but especially after these heat races get going. So the pill pick heats will be getting underway. We'll see if we can get ourselves a look at the starting lineup. Here's a look at the Ashley Rojero Butcher camp, again, getting in the fan vote. And then here we go. Justin Ataconis was able to do a good amount of laps. What you got with him, Caleb?
All right, Justin, tell us a little bit about the track layout right now and what changes you guys are making.
The track layout is actually really fun. There's a lot of passing opportunities too for the race. It's gonna be cool. As far as kart changes go, we're just going down on gear. We're really high on gear, so we're gonna go down a couple gears and hopefully be pretty fast in the race. Coming from the back.
Now, both Connor and Dalton didn't get a lap on. Connor did it intentionally. Dalton did it obviously because they had a problem with their engine. Now, do you think they're going to have a little bit more of an advantage saving the tires, or are you not worried about that?
I mean, I think they're obviously going to have a little more advantage on the tires. It's just not going to be as big because they don't get the track time, obviously. So they're not going to know the track. So that's going to be a little interesting. But I think later on it might be an advantage because they're going to get one less session on the tires. But other than that, I don't think it's that bad.
All right, there it is. Justin Anaconis, one of the breakout rookies, is going to have maybe a good chance here this afternoon. Let's see if we can't talk to more people.
Thank you, Caleb. And again, Justin Ataconis in that beautiful Lando Norris kart livery, the 318. You can see the adjustments being made and a couple little checks on the tires there on the right front. Ashley Rojero Butcher, fan vote winner, here with Caleb.
All right, Ashley, so you stayed on track the longest. Tell us a little bit about how you felt the track was. Obviously a brand new track. Did you learn a lot there? What else can you improve going forward?
Yeah, it was a lot more difficult than I expected. Really tight corners. You know, you got to set up a lot. Not a lot of bottom corner speed coming off, so I think passing is going to be a little bit difficult, but defending should be easy since we're going so slow. So starting on the pole for this heat, hopefully we can stay there.
Now, I think it's going to be packed up a little bit more. Do you think it's going to be easier for someone to run away since there is so much tighter corners? It's going to be easier to defend.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, you know, train racing, and as soon as someone slips up and makes a mistake, there's going to be opportunity to go. So you got to really hit your marks and be on top of it.
All right, there it is, Ashley Rojero. We're going to see if we can't get a little bit more conversations going with other drivers, but just a little bit of a more driver inside view, Xander.
We just got an update of the starting lineup here given us to the booth. So like Ashley Rojero Butcher mentioned, she has drawn the first pill, so she will start pole in heat number 1. She will start P15 in heat number 2. Here's Ryan Norberg. He's drawn a pill that'll put him 7th mid-grid, which is what he said he wanted to be last night, down with Caleb.
All right, Ryan, so you're going to be starting in the mid-pack. Now, you were watching yesterday with the KA shootout. I'm sure you learned a lot. New track for you that you've never driven on. Tell us what's going through your head mentally and how you're going to take things on being in the mid-pack.
Well, the mid-pack has its benefits and its negatives. I mean, you're obviously in a good spot for both races, but the unfortunate part is you're right in kind of the crapshoot. So hopefully, you know, we stay out of trouble in the beginning and we can just make some passes. Track's really tight. I mean, it's really tight, really technical. I mean, it's a lot of turns. It's going to work all of us out, and so I mean I think that's why you saw all the drivers pull in early because we all realize that it's a tough track, and so.
Now Ashley said it's going to be a little bit packed up, kind of follow the leader. Do you think it's going to be the same, or do you think there's going to be more passing opportunities?
It depends on what gear ratio everybody's on. I mean, you can go for the infield or you can go for the straightaway, and you know, pick which one you want to do. And so I think, you know, depending on what the leader is, that's going to dictate how the rest of the race is going to go.
All right, there it is. Ryan Norberg, the 7-time national champion, says it's going to dictate about gearing. But we'll see here shortly, Xander.
So, again, Ryan Norberg in that 348 RPG camp. Again, they've got all their team karts together and all their mechanics together. One thing that was cool to hear from him is he talked about how the group operates for these shootouts. They've got someone back at the parts trailer with a phone in hand waiting to hear what parts are needed, what needs to get brought up, what sprocket, what axle, everything like that. And this group, little smaller operation. Braden Eves, a one-car team in the MPG Motorsports Will Power Card. He's down with Caleb.
All right, Beav, so we're talking to everyone on track. They said it's going to be a little tight. Ashley said it's going to be follow the leader. Ryan says it's going to be down to gearing. How do you think this track is going to race in the pack?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty difficult to pass, but you never know until you get into the race, and you got that long straightaway, so I think the gear is going to matter a lot. Just if you're a little bit lower, you're going to be able to pass a little bit better, but if you're too low, man, you're going to be screwed on this layout. So, the track's just so dirty. It was like we'd go through one corner and get dirt on the tires, and then going into the next corner, we had no grip. So I think it's going to, we're going to have to stay on top of it because this track's going to be evolving a lot. But, yeah, those are my thoughts.
So there hasn't been a lot of time to learn things right now, and like we said, no one's run this one before. Do you think there's going to be some maybe standouts from the mid-pack to make their way up to the front as they learn more about it, or do you think it's going to be kind of set in stone?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some, there's some kids in here that don't learn so quick, so You know, the people that are the better drivers are definitely going to catch on quicker, you know. Like a lot of people were out there following my line out there, just learning from me. So, you know, it's whatever. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be, you know, this Heat 1 is really where the standouts are going to come forward.
All right, there it is. Braden Eves with the MPG PK says it's going to be a little bit hectic and maybe some are going to come forward, but it's going to be a little bit tight in the racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody expects it to be tight. You know, this is really, again, the biggest wrench that we have seen yet in these shootout races when it comes to track layouts. Probably the most differences that you could have had at GoPro Motorplex. This was originally the layout slated to be run back in 2021. There were some timing loop issues that wouldn't allow us to run that hairpin on the front straightaway the way that we wanted it to. Now that we're able to do that here this year, makes it so much cooler to be able to make this event happen. And speaking of guys that were really quick, well, Nate Cicero was one of the fastest all session long. He ended the fastest. So the number 382 RPG Cosmic, he's going to be getting set to roll off 8th alongside his teammate in heat number 1. He's down with Caleb.
All right, so I couldn't help but see when you first came off the scales, you gave a thumbs up to your team and had a giant smile on your face. You feeling more confident than most would?
Yeah, I feel really good right now. Car feels amazing. This track is so much fun, so I'm just having a good time.
Now, we were talking to a couple people. They said that he didn't think it was going to race the best. Your teammate, Ryan Norberg, said he thinks it's going to come down to gearing. Do you think, as far as racecraft goes, it's going to be easy to pass, or do you think it's going to be mostly follow the leader?
I think there'll be some good spots to pass. I think it's going to be really tight racing. You saw last night how aggressive it got, so we'll have to see how it is in the first heat.
Now, this is your first shootout. You nervous at all, or are you calm, cool, and collective?
I was in here last year.
Come on, Caleb.
All right, this is embarrassing. So, yeah, that is going to be Nate Cicero. He says he's feeling very confident in his second X30 Shootout here at GoPro. Xander?
Well, we're going to have to bench Caleb for that one, obviously. That's one mistake. The drivers get to make a lot of mistakes. Us broadcasters are not allowed to make it. So we're gonna send Caleb back to the benches. But, hey, all good fun here tonight for the MG Tires X30 Pro Shootout. Nate Cicero, again, like he said, he was actually almost able to get the lead when Connor Zilish and Ryan Norberg had a massive crash for the lead and the win. Quick announcement here. All drivers are to report to the top of the grid for a driver's meeting. All drivers to the top of the grid for a driver's meeting. And then they're going to get set here to go green. So they're going to report all those drivers up to hear from IAME USA Grand National Championship race director Justin Dittrich. He's going to go over probably the start procedures because it's going to be a little bit tricky since we've cut the front straightaway in half and we made the first corner a hairpin. So what we're going to do, well, we'll listen in here and give you all the intel that we can.
We're learning. But instead of taking that first corner there, you go all the way down. So we come out down by turn 11.
Yeah, you're bent, Caleb. So there's a look at, again, some of the drivers just getting a little bit of extra direction of what to expect here for heat number 1. And, well, while they get set and booted, there's a look at your front row here. Dalton Haynes with basically glazed over tires. At least he's going to get an outlap to try and work them in a little bit, but all those tires have made it about 500 feet. You can see the dust is still on those brand new sticker MG yellows, and he and his privateer operation are going in all but blind. Him and his older brother, Roman Haynes, working together out of a garage with some friends to help them out here tonight. But beyond that, it is just two brothers trying to take on the world, and they've got a big mountain ahead of them, like you heard from Dalton in his interview. Not exactly part of the plan for them to break on the access road. Now let's go back to row number 2 behind Ashley Rogero, Butcher, and himself. Jeremy Fletcher in the RPM Tony Kart. He's got a pretty prime position for heat number 1. He'll start in 3rd and was pretty decent in that opening practice. One of the promoters' picks. Starts alongside another promoter's pick, Connor Zilish, Team GWR's one of 2 bullets in the gun here tonight. Further back down the grid there, row number 3. It's a couple CRGs for Speed Concepts Racing. Paulie Massimino in the number 308, and then the 305, rookie standout Aiden Ingrata. Moving back to row number 4. Ryan Norberg, like he said, this is both good and bad. Puts him in the Hornet's Nest. Also, at the same time, keeps this position not too far back in either heat race. He'll start 7th in both. As to his outside, Nate Cicero in the number 382. Or actually, Nate will start 8th in both. Ryan will start 9th in heat number 2. There is the number 329 of Brian, or 325 of Brian Boley. He'll start just inside the top 10 here in the 9th spot, and to his outside there, it'll be, I believe, Hayden Jones, if not Alex Stanfield. It'll be Alex Stanfield down in the top 10. Justin Ataconis, Hayden Jones, Ben Cooper, Braden Eves rolls off 14th, and he seemed pretty confident about his pace after that one with everyone, he said, following him. So now, well, they're not going to follow him. He's going to be following them and trying to cut his way forward. They'll be following him in heat number 2 when he rolls off 2nd. And Roland Taylor and Charlie on the field. Adam Brickley will roll up at the very end. That is your field for the X30 Pro MG Tires Shootout here tonight. The first heat race, 10 laps. The second one, 10 minutes later, 10 laps also. And then it will be time for the 15-lap main. Here they come down the front straightaway. They'll start to form up towards turn number 1. We'll give you an overhead drone shot as well as start, and a low drone shot to try and get the start as well.
Yeah, so you can see them making the way around the track right now. A couple of guys trying to get as much heat as they can into the tires. These are relatively new to them, but it's getting a little chilly out here, Xander, so it's going to be about how you can get these tires up, heated up the quickest. I tell you, someone who's probably scrubbing them all the way to high water and back is going to be Dalton Haynes, who has not had one single heat cycle on him.
Yeah, and again, this is his first sighting lap of the entire racetrack, so he has no idea what it's going to be like. Nobody really knows what to expect on this completely alternate layout for the MG Tires X30 Pros, but through turn 4, he'll start to form up here as he catches up to Ashley Rogero Butcher, and we get set for a start. So there they go. They'll go 2 by 2 over the cut through and up the hill towards the final corner. Forming up, again, Rogero Butcher on the inside. The fan vote winner, Dalton Haynes, transferred in, the 8th seed in the top 10 heat points coming in. 2 promoters picks behind him, the rest of the field all together. 15 drivers, first heat on the night. You can see right there the fans are lined on the fences. And the drone shot, what an awesome shot of this start here as we get set to go. Ashley Rogero Butcher, Dalton Haynes, the front row. We look for the green flag down to the hairpin. A nice and slow start. And it'll go all the way down to turn 1, I believe, to start them. And then they'll race around. So here we go, down to 1. Green flag in the air.
And they're all going to try to break for that inside line. Rogero gets a good jump, and now she is going to go straight to the point. Dalton Haynes struggling to fall back through the field. He's going to slip into 4th, maybe even 5th right now as he is just trying to hang on. Again, hasn't even turned a lap, but this is normal parts of it. When they get to the new areas, he's going to struggle just a little bit more.
So here they go. First time in the new area. Ashley Rogero takes them in. First time full speed. Contact. And we got 4 around over in turn number 4. 4 drivers together. Braden Eves, Adam Brickley, Hayden Jones, Ben Cooper all get collected.
So they're going to have to go to the back, and now they're going into the first time at speed, at race pace. And right now, Rogero
got shuffled to the back there for the lead. Jeremy Fletcher, big time out front.
Yeah, so now she's trying to hold on for all he can. Massimino now up into the 3rd spot. All the while, Jeremy Fletcher, who started back in the 3rd position, now leading it, trying to see if he can't open up a gap.
So Massimino to 2nd, Aiden Ingrata to 3rd, Rogero Butcher back to 4th, and Cicero is in 5th. And again, you already had a crash on the opening lap. Ben Cooper, Braden Eves, Adam Brickley, and what looked to be maybe actually Brian Boley were the drivers collected there, if not Hayden Jones. One of the 2 of them collected right there in turn 4. And we got problems for Dalton Haynes. Again, the bad luck continues for the number 14. He has come to a halt on the racetrack on one of the access roads as Jeremy Fletcher will lead lap number 2. Not 8 laps to go here as they cross the timing loop. And they're side by side behind him. So Paulie Massimino on the way forward. Kart Sport North America sponsoring $500 to win the heat races. And you can see Ashley Rojero's getting eaten alive right now as she's got a big pack behind her. Connor Zilich in there and Justin Ataconis, and Cicero's wide. And oh my goodness, hello Ataconis through.
Yeah, so he is now making his way through the field. Connor Zilich, again, one of the drivers, has barely a half a heat cycle on his tires. He said that he felt confident and trying to try something new to win it, as there goes Ryan Norberg on the inside of one of his teammates there, of Nate Cicero. Cicero probably trying to clean off their tires, coming out of 4 now. There goes leaders at the top of your screen, but Paulie Massimino trying to hunt down the young gun of Jeremy Fletcher out in front.
Ashley Rojero Butcher about to come under fire from Alex Stanfield as they go down to turn number 1. Here comes Stanfield looking for that spot for 4th. He's going to ship Rojero wide. She'll go way, and the Marbles lose 3 spots in total. Stanfield's by, Ataconis by, Zilich by. Here comes Norberg. They are all shuffling the number 17 machine as she's sideways. Meanwhile, up front, Fletcher has company on the way. That's the top 3. Here's Alex Stanfield and Justin Ataconis and Connor Zilich, and then Ryan Norberg.
Connor Zilich seems to maybe have gotten things figured out a little bit quicker on the fly, as Norberg had a look there on the inside of 3. But right now, I think maybe Zilich is not struggling as much as we thought that he would. He is currently following Justin Anaconas, who is running in the 6th position. Right behind front of him is Alex Stanfield. But I think maybe the top 2 have checked out from the field just a little bit, relatively so, seeing as how tight this track is. About Jeremy Fletcher out in front. Massimino trails by about 3/10.
So there goes again Alex Stanfield trying to pull away from Justin Ataconis, and Jeremy Fletcher leading the leading group of 3. They're all single file. Ryan Norberg has had a couple looks on Connor Zilich already, and Zilich has shut the door on him. Norberg's cut him a break. All the points matter here. Connor Zilich trying to stay up towards the front. Norberg trying to hunt forward. And so you can see Zilich just kind of narrow lines all the way through. Norberg beating his door down as they head up the hill to turn 3. He's got another run, stuffs it. Oh, and they make contact. Zilich goes wide, and here we go. Look at the blocking. That's back behind these 2. Zilich to the bottom side.
Yeah, Zilich, I don't think was too happy with that one. I think Ryan's starting to get a little frustrated. They're backing up the field now with this back and forth that they're doing. Ryan and him are slowly starting to bring in a couple others from behind him. One of them, or a few of them, watching for his teammates too. So if they're not able to do something quickly, it could be just a battle in the mid-pack here and watching the front 5 pull away.
That was a veteran move by Norberg there to back out of it, and interesting to see Connor Zilich wanting to go into it again. These 2, history goes back to 2021 with the shootout when, again, Norberg stuffed it on the inside of Zilich. They came together, and they both crashed in the main. Now here in the heat race, Norberg, another run at him, 5 to go. Still a lot of time, a lot of laps. It's a full layout here. I mean, we're talking a lot of heat cycles for these guys, so it's not as quick as the shorter layouts run for the KA shootout. Zilich going to block again. Norberg frustrated with the way he's getting driven because he's watching the next few cars pull away. But Connor Zilich, I don't think he thinks he has a shot at going any bit further forward. He's just trying to not go backwards. Now Norberg's got to worry about Nate Cicero coming to his bumper.
I think Zilich may have missed on gearing just a little bit going into 4. It seems that Ryan kind of opens up a second gear on him and closes up to him. In these shorter parts of the track, though, he's still learning as what some of these drivers have more, just a handful of more laps than he does. So look for maybe Ryan Norberg getting a little, trying to fall back a little bit coming out of what would have been turn number 7 to then try to reel it up to him as they go into what would have been old turn 4.
So that is the second group here, or third group really. Justin Ataconis starting to get away along with along with Alex Stanfield there up the road. That's 5th and 4th. This is the fight for 6th. Norberg. Oh, little love tap there into turn number 4. Still fighting here back for P6 onwards. And the leaders, Jeremy Fletcher, Paulie Massimino, Aiden Ingrata, well, they've just kind of been cruising out front. They've been having a solid day, putting some good laps together and pulling away from everybody else while this battle still rages on back behind them.
Something else that Connor Zilich is doing too is he can't afford to lose any more positions. He had an okay starting spot, currently finds himself in the 6th spot right now. So if he can just hold on a little bit longer than where he is for 3 more laps to go, it might be able to save him if they can make a few more adjustments to the kart and have it dialed in a little bit better for heat race number 2.
So here they go up the hill towards turn 3. 3 laps to go. Zilich, Norberg, all battling. Justin Ataconis up the road. We're keeping our cameras on them because the top 3 are all pretty separated. Jeremy Fletcher, Paulie Massimino, and Aiden Ingrata are just kind of riding to the end of this one. It looks like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Zilich here doing everything he can to keep Norberg behind him as they go down the hill to the hairpin.
So we're going to keep watching this battle. Nate Cicero had a couple of looks there on his teammate of Ryan Nornberg, and this is exactly what Ashley O'Hara said, as there's a pass on the inside there. It looks like Nornberg and maybe even Cicero getting a little frustrated, but as Ashley O'Hara
that was
said,
behind them. That was going to be one of the other teammates. That was Ashley O'Hara Butcher on Brian Boley, I think, battling back and forth. So, Cicero is still right there on Norberg, but it's Rohero Butcher versus Boley in that hairpin. That's for P9. So Ashley Rohero Butcher started on the pole, is struggling, and here's Norberg. This time he's going to send it on the inside of Zilish, and he keeps the nose down, and he finally gets around him. So Connor has to, gets in the air, and more contact as they all fight for P6 up the hill. White flag for the leaders. Zilish puts the bumper to Norberg, moves him up the racetrack. They're 3 wide, and Zilish to the inside with Cicero.
Yeah, I think this is getting a little frustrating as they're now bringing in the 2 from behind. Rohero is closing up to him as well. But as Rohero said before, it's very tight, and it's all follow the leader. Norberg had him there for a moment. Now we see that is Cicero now ahead of Norberg right behind Zilish. Let's see if maybe he's going to put the bumper to him going into Old Turn 4, or if maybe he's just going to be content following where he is right behind Connor.
Well, Connor Zilish again. He's getting his elbows out for heat points. Meanwhile, here's the leaders. Jeremy Fletcher and Paulie Massimino have been out front comfortably so far through turn number 4, and they're going to head to the final section of the racetrack. Jeremy Fletcher, solidly driven so far, picks up 2 spots from 3rd to the lead to the heat win. $500. Jeremy Fletcher in the RPM Tony Kart wins the heat race. Here's that battle with Norberg and Cicero and everyone. It'll be a side-by-side run to the line. Zilish hangs on. Closes the door there at the end, and everybody kind of caught back up. Braden Eves, Adam Brickley, Ben Cooper, they all arrived there late. Eves ended up 13th, Brickley 14th. Dalton Haynes, well, his strategy for going fresher tires, it's going to be really fresh for the number 14. Dalton Haynes back over on one of our other cameras here we've got on the side of the racetrack. We'll have to ride the cruiser on in. Did not even get a single full lap in at speed. So fresh tires, but he's got a lot of work to do and a bad result. 15th place points for Dalton Haynes here in heat number 1. But Jeremy Fletcher wins the heat race. Paulie Massimino 2nd, Aiden Ingrata 3rd. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we go through the scales and we'll chat with everyone after the first heat race. All wrapped up for the MG Tires X30 Pro Shootout.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Massive turnouts, world-class venues, and an awesome family-friendly atmosphere. All of these and more are pillars of the U.S. Pro Kart Series, which is gearing up for its biggest season yet in 2023. Orlando, Houston, Newcastle, Cincinnati, and Mooresville. Welcome to the top level of North American karting. Welcome to the U.S. Pro Kart Series.
All right, I'm with you now. Keep going.
Right.
All right. So welcome back here to the X30 Shootout, night number 2. We had the KA yesterday. Our very own Xander Clements is down there on grid, and he has got Jeremy Fletcher, the winner from heat race number 1, lined up ready to go. Xander?
Just need you to unmute me, Caleb. Thank you so much here. We're ready to go. All right, Jeremy Fletcher. Jeremy, that one was pretty tame for you. Started third, picked up a couple spots. What'd you learn?
Yeah, I mean, the track's definitely a little bit technical. It's fun, but definitely an upside from yesterday and how that shootout went and how this weekend's been going overall. We really haven't had the pace, but great confidence booster to come out here and get the first heat win.
Everyone's kind of shooting blind off that first practice session of where to be on gearing, especially. Where'd you guys feel like? Where would you rate it out of 10 where you guys were at for gear?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a good 7 to 8, but we're going to play around with this some more, just use the heat race and get ready for the final.
Anything else you learned about that one? Passing zones, defending it all? You only had to make a couple passes to get through really on the first lap. What'd you learn from that?
Yeah, I mean, now that we got to come from the back, I got to look at places where you can pass without losing the time. So I think I got a couple spots figured out, and I think it should be good.
Any other big changes here for Heat 2?
Not that I can say.
All right, Jeremy Fletcher's got to go back to the data table here. We'll keep walking around the pits and talk to a few more. Again, big storylines out of that first heat race here, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. Again there, too, with Jeremy Fletcher. He did not have the best run yesterday in the KA. He ended up losing the engine, had suffered multiple engine problems. So we're going to look live now, and here you can see some of the crew are going to work on the karts. Some may be working harder than others. Some guys may have missed the setup completely or may have to reel it in just a little bit more. There's the sound of the whistle. That is the allowance of when your time is allowed to start working on your kart. You can see there Connor Zillich pulling the stuff out of the seat. So they're only allowed 10 minutes in between heat race 1 and heat race 2 in order to make the changes that they need. So the crews now are trying to work as quickly as possible. If maybe you have to change a handful of things, that's when you can take a little bit easier. But there's a live look now there on the 2 of the Tony karts. Connor Zillich is now about to catch up with Xander Clements.
All right, Connor. No shortage of action in that one. You were fighting tooth and nail to keep one specific driver behind you. Explain that a little bit.
It's not who it is. It's just the position I'm in. I wasn't going to get ahead anywhere, so I might as well keep the spot I'm in. So I was just fighting for it, but we got some stuff we're going to work on and hopefully get better. I need a little bit more pace. Even with the better tires, I still was just lacking compared to the blue karts behind me. So we're going to work on it and see where we can get.
And overall, I mean, obviously, we asked Jeremy Fletcher where he thought he was on gearing. You don't want to give the house away, but where would you rank your gearing guesstimation at?
What do you mean, like?
Like a rated out of scale 0 out of 10, how good or bad it was for that session. Didn't look too good, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't know what's gear and what's motor. But we'll work on it and hopefully get better.
All right, well, hey, you survived, got yourself some decent points. Unfortunately, got a deeper starting spot from that one, but you know where you can defend. Now we're going to have to flip the tables a little bit. Do you have an idea where you think you can make some quick passes?
Yeah, there's some spots you can definitely make a pass. But then again, you can also block all those spots like I was. So it's just going to be a matter of what everyone else does and just go where they're not.
All right, Connor Zillich rolls off a little bit deeper here for heat number 2, and like he said, it wasn't anything personal. Was just trying to hang on there for dear life to start as high or get as high points as he could. Caleb?
Thank you, Xander. That's one of the big debates everyone's going to have to play right now is you are able to defend. There's some that are maybe able to figure out how to defend here a little bit quicker. This track, because of how tight it is and how many corners there are, we talked to Ashley O'Hara earlier, and she said that there's going to be a lot of places that maybe you can put a block on, and then Ryan Norberg said that this place is going to come down to gearing. So a little bit different mindset all the way through. They're probably becoming a little bit more in unisync after that first heat race as you look off to you can see a couple of the CRGs there going to town on it. There's Aiden and Grata. You can see that they got the front wheels off, maybe trying to look at that front end. Maybe it has a little bit more caster or camber to it. There's what appears to be Justin Anaconas off the side, getting a little bit of a prep talk too. So it's a little bit hectic down in the pit area. Everyone's just trying to figure out, maybe looking at the data here. Yesterday we saw a lot of people making some data adjustments or driving adjustments by looking at the data. There's Hayden Jones up there in the front right. Looks like one of the mechanics are cleaning off the tires, maybe trying to get any dust or rubber that they have on it. Oh, they're actually putting tires into ice coolers, I've just been told. So that's, they're trying to keep the tires cool. A little bit different than what we've seen from yesterday. Yesterday was all about maybe trying to keep a little bit of warmth in the tires. So today they're dipping them into an ice cooler in order to get the wear down on them, maybe preserve them a little bit longer. I wouldn't be surprised if some guys maybe switching sides of tires, putting the lefts on the rights and the rights on the lefts in order to keep the wear down to a minimum. So there's been different strategies. Last year, we saw some people soaking the tires. They'd take water bottles and dump it inside the tire and on the tire too. As now Xander Clements is caught up to Ryan Norberg. Let's hear from Ryan.
All right, Ryan, you could tell a little bit at the end there, a little bit of frustration, but stuff we expected on this layout. As quick and twisty as it is, it's pretty easy to defend. Is that what you took from that battle with Connor?
Yeah, I mean, I know what Connor's doing. He just didn't have the speed that one, so he's just holding on. And I understand. It's just, when you're stuck behind somebody and there's not a lot of passing, so you got to make something work, He left the door open one corner. I tried. I mean, I'm just grasping at straws out there. So, I was able to get it in front of him, but then, defended down here and got moved. So, that's this racing. I mean, it's like Eric Jones said, this is a big short track. So, and it is that way. I mean, you got to race like it's a short track. So, it's part of the game, and we're working on stuff. We got a good kart. I mean, I think I was really fast out there. Just didn't really have a lot to pass. So, we've got to work on making the kart more racy.
Yeah, that seems like everybody's making some pretty big wholesale changes. You yourself seem a little bit kind of frantic even after all that deal. Talk to me about everything going on right now. What's going on with your kart? There's got guys dunking tires in the water coolers. That's obviously pretty big. There's some guys here with fresh tires. I mean, where's your head at here for the second heat?
Well, clearly, I don't think the fresh tires, that strategy really worked a whole lot. I think you need to just have a kart that's fast and got a good setup on it. So right now, that's what we're working on. I mean, everybody's doing a lot, but we're trying to get the setup dialed so that, we can fix the areas that we're weak and hopefully be able to make some more passes.
Sweet. That's Ryan Norberg, guys. He's going to roll off around mid-grid once again here for Heat 2. 9th. We'll send it around.
All right, so that's a little interesting take there from Ryan Norberg, someone who we normally see as one of the best feels for karts and very consistent. And like you said, he hit the nail right on the head. What Connor was doing on track is he was just trying to recover as many points as he could and try to make sure that he could stay up as high as he can on the grid. And just as Ryan said, he's grasping at straws. Not a lot of places to make some decent passes, especially when the person in front of you is trying to frantically hold you back to make sure that you can't get around him. As looks like we have caught up with some more as we send it down to Xander Clements yet again.
Well, down here with Brian Boley, he started in a decent spot, you would think, right at the end of the Hornet's Nest in the top 10, and unfortunately, first lap, just kind of everyone got together. Talk us through it.
Yeah, we all just kind of got stacked up coming out of the bowl there, and everybody bunched up. A bunch of people were just getting front to rear contact, and we all just kind of accordion together, and there's a little contact. Some people were sideways. I can't remember who it was. Somebody was sideways in the middle of the double left there, so.
Anything else? Obviously, you stayed out for the whole session. You ran it all the way through to try and learn a little bit more, and you've got some teammates that were quick as well. Where's your head out here for Heat 2?
Yeah, just going to make a couple small changes on the go-kart, nothing crazy. Just try to dial it in for the next heat and hopefully get a better run from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Brian Boley here rolls off a little bit better here for this one. He'll roll off inside the top 5.
All right, thank you, Xander. Again, another interesting look on things. I have a feeling it's going to be maybe just a little bit less chaotic than it was before. The idea of maybe not everyone knowing the track is kind of out the window now that everyone's got a feel for it. Now it comes down to who made the best setup changes, who did the best strategy, as we've seen for the Ralston Performance Group, of dumping their tires into an ice bucket. That's a different strategy that we've seen. Everyone just trying to go outside the box here to get that extra advantage over everyone. As we look now at Aiden Ingrata's kart, as he's looks like they're maybe finishing up a gear adjustment. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of those tonight, trying to make sure. I'm sure that's not the last that they're going to be doing as well. So that's a good look what the mechanics are doing there. A little bit of lights on the kart too, making it easier for us in the booth and you viewers at home to spot who is out on track, as we're going to continue over to see. There's Connor Zilich talking to Paulie Massimino along with Aiden Ingrata to maybe they're combining their data, talking about what happened on track, talking about incidences that happened. Again, that was Paulie Massimino ended up P2 right behind Jeremy Fletcher, so he's had a decent weekend so far. And they're just going to be over there maybe talking about things that they've seen. Good weekend for these two overall so far. As it looks like now, Paulie Massimino is going to have a word with our Xander Clements. Xander?
All right, down here with Paulie Massimino, top 3 in that first heat. Looked like once you kind of sorted out the first few laps, you guys were riding and feeling each other out, maybe not going, full on attack mode. Where were you at?
I was just trying to figure out the track a little bit more, and I think me and Fletch were pretty big different on setup. So I was definitely able to catch him a lot down the straightaway, but off the bottom he was ripping me. So it's kind of like a cat and mouse game.
That's where everyone was kind of going to be at. I think nobody would have bet against that with a lot of different gear ratio guesstimates on this one. It looked like for both you and for Aiden, at least one of you guys making some more front-end changes, so you're trying to find a better go-kart overall. So we got 2 minutes here for us. There goes the 2-minute warning. Gives a little smile to you, but are you confident with the piece, at least handling-wise, after that first heat?
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot more confident than the shootout yesterday. That was unfortunate, but yeah, I think we're all right. Just try to make our way through the field now. We got to start pretty far back, so we'll see what we can do.
All right, we'll let Paulie Massimino go. That's the 2-minute warning here. Paulie, good luck. He tries to repeat here. Once again, go back-to-back jacks.
Thank you.
That's Paulie Massimino. He's got to go to the front of the grid. We're going to send our camera up there, and it's time to get ready to do it again. Here, Heat 2 up next. Well, the drivers begin to find their way into line. Let's go ahead and take you through your starting lineup for the second heat race on the evening here. Again, in full invert from where we were back at heat number 1. Adam Brickley is going to get the opportunity to try and rebound after getting collected in that incident with Brian Boley, among others, in turn 4 on the very first lap. He'll lead them off from the pole in the Privateer OTK entry. To his outside will be the number 4 MPG Motorsports Will Power Kart of Braden Eves, who also, again, collected on that opening lap with a dismal finish, but some good speed by the end for the number 4 machine. Moving back to row number 2, Ben Cooper will line up in third as soon as they get him down there. He's holding his spot, waiting on his team to try and get down. They've got the 1-minute warning, so if we can back that camera up, we'll get a better look at what we've got as Hayden Jones is there lining up to the outside of Cooper in 4th. Justin Ataconis will start in the 5th spot aboard the BJR MDR Lando Norris kart. Then it'll be Alex Stanfield to his outside. What a good run there for Stanfield to get up into the top 5. He could be looking to start on the pole with the great run he's had to get up to 4th. Then there's the 325 of Brian Boley, rolls off 7th. Decent starting spot for him. You go back to his outside of Brian Boley. It'll be Nate Cicero, who again inside the top 10, ready to rock for some more. Kept the kart clean. Back in P9, Ryan Norberg, a little more work to do. Again, only got up a couple spots there in that first heat race, ended 8th. You go back, Aiden Ingrata with the light up, number 305, Speed Concepts Racing CRG. He starts on the outside of Norberg around the top 10. And here we go. The rest of the karts will release. Massimino, Fletcher, Ashley Rojero Butcher, Dalton Haynes, and along with that, Connor Zilish. All will be the back 5 starters as the field heads off the access road, and we're going to get set for another start. So they'll take the full warm-up lap, and then again, just like last time, start them down at the normal turn number 1, which will run them into the hairpin or turn 4 bowl, and then that quick turnaround hairpin.
Xander, do you think, looking back what we saw on the grid, everyone obviously making some changes to their car, maybe some gear changes, setup changes, I didn't really see any axle changes. Do you think that's going to bunch them up even more, or do you think maybe a couple guys may find something that'll pull them away?
I don't know. I mean, I think, to be honest, looking at it, a lot of guys were making a lot of changes in a lot of different ways. We didn't see axle changes, but, you know, you can walk down the grid at a lot of these bigger races and you could have 3 go-karts on the same manufacturer running 3 different axle stiffnesses. We're seeing definitely some front-end changes. Those are quick. An axle change, I mean, you really don't want to have to do that here tonight, and that's more of a kind of gripped up versus non-grip deal. You'd imagine that they would have already had an idea of where they would be unless you took a big stab at it. That's not what you want to do. You want to do micro adjustments here in between these heats. You got 10 minutes, right? You saw the RPG camp. They were soaking their tires in ice to try and cool them down. That's not even a chassis adjustment or anything else. You know you're going to make gearing adjustments. You know there's a chance you might wad something up and have to fix the go-kart as well. So when you come in and you want to make some wholesale changes like a seat or an axle, that's not really something you can do in that 10-minute time frame. It's not something that you want to try and put on your plate here tonight. So that's why it's so important in that first practice, in that first heat, if a driver can get comfortable and get fast, or if he's struggling, it means you're in for a long Saturday night. The fences are lined up here again. You can see the crowd's ready. Here we go with the drone cam. Adam Brickley, Braden Eves on the front row of 15. We've kept them all together so far. Little carnage on the first heat. What does the second heat look like? It's underway. Down to turn 1, and we are with Eves out in front as Brickley gets shuffled wide. He's trying to hang on. Ben Cooper on the bumper for second, and Braden Eves getting away down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Braden Eves did a good job. We're on the outside line. Now he's going to see if he can't check out as Brickley's still under fire. As a little bit wide there went your third place.
That was Ben Cooper. Way wide there, tried to rip the top side, and we got more contact in the back. Big contact in the back of the field. Zillish got together, and again, the back 5 got all over each other. So Rogero Butcher, Fletcher, Moore, I think Haynes might have been involved. And Braden Eves looking great out front as Hayden Jones leads the way behind. Brickley's back to third. Cooper fighting him. He'll take the spot. Here comes Ataconis, but he's going to be on the outside, so he quickly gets down low just in front of Alex Stanfield.
Yeah, so they're all going to go single file here. I think Beeves may be in the perfect opportunity to try to maybe put a little bit of a gap, although he's got Hayden Jones, doesn't have any competition from behind. So if he can keep about a 10th or 2 advantage over Beeves, he may slowly start to catch back up to him. And already they're already in a line of carts. Looked like Anaconis had a look there on the inside, thought about it on Brickley, but now he's going to stay in line.
So Braden Eves continues to lead here over Hayden Jones, Ben Cooper, then Adam Brickley there in the 4th spot, trying to hang on ahead of Justin Ataconis. He seems to have found some footing now, so Brickley looks solid there in the middle of that grouping. Then it's Alex Stanfield who's going to stay on the bumper. No passing through that pack so far. Hayden Jones a little bit quicker than Braden Eves last time by about a 10th of a second, so he's reeling in the leader, and they're going to tighten up there with plenty of time to go here. 2 down, 8 to come. Braden Eves your leader over Jones, Cooper, Brickley, Ataconis, the top 5. Where's your update on everybody else? Well, the big issue was for Dalton Haynes. His shootout, bad to worse. Not a lap turn there, didn't cross the line. Ashley Rogero Butcher got collected in the crash as well as Paulie Massimino. So those were the 3 big losers on the opening lap. And for Massimino, second in the first heat, but now all the way back there in heat number 2. I mean, there's no real standout. I think, again, the one that might be looking the best in the points could be Alex Stanfield or maybe Hayden Jones if he can get around Braden Eves, and he's working on him now.
Yeah, I think Beeves is going to have to go on the defensive here soon. But as we've seen from Connor Zillich, it's very easy to defend here. So if you're Hayden Jones, you got to be patient. You got 7.5 more laps. You got to find the opportunity to make your move. If you start to force the issue, you're going to allow everyone else in that third on back group to slowly start to reel back up to you. And just like that, what could have been a 2-kart battle later on the race would quickly turn to a 4-kart battle for the lead.
Here they go down the back straightaway. 1 car length up for Eves, so he's got what looks to be some good bottom end power, and then Jones kind of closes back up. But Jones was really good in this section right here specifically. He was able to close up last lap and beyond the bumper of Eves going into normally turn number 8, that hairpin out of the final turn. Eves doesn't look as planted, I would say. And here comes Jones down the inside with a crossover from Eves. Eves can't get clear. Jones is going to run him wide. Ben Cooper crosses them both up. Cooper to the lead. Brickley to the outside now for second. Eves going to get shoved by Justin Ataconis into third. Ataconis now going to get shuffled all the way back about 5 spots.
What a master move there by Cooper. That took a lot of experience. That's a very veteran move. He saw the opportunity, kept his nose clean, and looking out, he has almost a 6 to 7 car length advantage over the rest of the field heading into turn 4, and they're still going to go side by side. Fletcher in the back of Brickley.
That was Stanfield. He'll move Brickley up the racetrack in turn number 4. Brickley back behind him here, and they're all going to stack up behind Alex Stanfield now. So Adam Brickley hangs on. And this is, again, great news for the drivers that started deep in the pack, like Nate Cicero, like Ryan Norberg. They go by. Cicero first, Norberg next, trying to go. Hip checks Brickley, guards over him, spins him out. Brickley gets taken out there as he tried to fight the pass on Norberg. Norberg popped in the air, and now here comes Aiden Ingrata to Norberg's bumper.
Yeah, so he's going to close up to him. He's going to bring Anaconas with him as well as he is quickly starting to go into the toe. But I think they're starting to realize you have to force the issue to make a pass, maybe get your elbows out. Not really going to be the most standardized from the book pass you're going to see here tonight.
So let's see here. Braden Eves has worked his way back around Hayden Jones for second to get through to P2. Ben Cooper continues to lead the way. That time by, Cooper was a good bit quicker as Jones and Eves went at it. You can see Norberg leading this next group here. He is back in the 6th position now with Brickley gone. So he's up a couple of spots, but there's a lot of guys in there. Jeremy Fletcher, Heat 1 winner, looking pretty good with that provisional to get into the show. And Connor Zilish as well, trying to make up some ground after a dismal opening heat in 6th. So they're all packed up here in this middle grouping behind Ryan Norberg and Aiden Ingrata. Ingrata, again, he also great spot right now, running inside the top 5 or top 6 in 7th, just on the outside into the top 6, and then a 3rd place result in Heat 1. He's looking really good.
Yeah, it looked like Cicero had to look there on the inside. I think he moved himself up one more spot, so that's going to put him around Stanfield behind Hayden Jones if he was able to hold it, and I think that he is going to be able to hold it. So he is now right behind his teammate, and not too far back is the veteran man himself, Ryan Norberg. He is behind Stanfield, still got quite a ways to go in 3 laps.
Interesting. Again, Ben Cooper able to make that move for the lead and then pull away. Braden Eves at his best of the session, but he's getting hunted down by Hayden Jones, who's going to fight him for second here sooner rather than later, and I think he's got around him. Hayden Jones to second. We just missed that there on the cameras, but Jones up to P2.
Yeah, so now Beeves is going to be under attack here again. Nate Cicero right there in his toe. Whatever toe is provided here out of turn 3 going down to the back straight. It looks like Braden is not close enough to try to put the pressure on Hayden Jones. Jones is not going to defend.
Yeah, Jones was quicker than Eves early on, so not a surprise that he's finally able to get back around him after that aggressive move to go to it first. He's now into second. Here comes Nate Cicero looking for third. $5K on the line, $500 on the line for this heat race. Ben Cooper, chalk it up for one of the old men right now. He's looking pretty good. Got the lead and got a cushion back to Hayden Jones as Nate Cicero goes to work for third here on Braden Eves.
Yeah, he's all over the back bumper of Eves as they make their way into that double left hand. You can almost call it a hairpin, 180-degree corner before they make their way back down. Beautiful overhead shot, and it looks like Braden Eves is definitely trying to hold him up just a little bit. You can see Hayden Jones is starting to pull away with about a lap and a half left to go. I don't think Jones can be able to work himself any higher.
Yeah, here comes Cicero. Big run to Eves. Eves going to throw in some blocks, trying to bring Alex Stanfield back in the mix. That'll also bring Ryan Norberg in 6th up to the fight as well. So with Hayden Jones having Eves behind blocking for third, that'll give him some more cushion. Final lap, white flag in the air. Ben Cooper sees it down to turn number 1 into the hairpin. Jones second. Eves, does he open the door? He just barely keeps it shut.
He's going to have to go on the defensive here for this last half a lap as he not only has to worry about Cicero, but also Stanfield, who's also up in the mixes. Oh, Cicero looked there on the inside of Eves, but just didn't have the real estate to get it done. Here comes Ryan Norberg trying to see if he can't make a move on Stanfield. Stanfield trying on Cicero heading into 2.
Yeah, Cicero lost ground to Eves. He needs a really good run up the hill to the back straightaway to try and fight there for third. Here they come. Eves is going to know that he's there. Leaves the door open a little bit. Not enough for Cicero to get by. It'll be a last corner move, if anything. Hayden Jones, on the other hand, not enough time to run down his elder teammate in Ben Cooper. So for the X30 Master Pick, he's got $500. Ben Cooper wins Heat 2. And everybody else will cycle across the line here. We'll give you the final tally on the results. Again, Ben Cooper, $500 and a heat race win for the 531. Hayden Jones second with a really quick go-kart. Braden Eves third. Nate Cicero, fastest lap time, finishes in 4th. Alex Stanfield 5th. Norberg 6th. Zilish 7th. Aiden Ingrata 8th. Jeremy Fletcher 9th. Massimino 10th. Anaconis falls all the way to the end of that group and runs in 11th. Ashley Rohero Butcher 12th. Brian Boley 13th. Adam Brickley with an issue. Dalton Haynes is 9th. Just, again, bad to worst for the 14 car. So, again, the issues for Dalton Haynes, I think that might sideline him. We'll talk with everyone here after the break. Heat 2, all done and dusted. Give it to Ben Cooper. Mr. Canada wins that one.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
The 2023 season is just around the corner, and if you're looking to buy, sell, connect, or learn, make plans to attend the 37th annual OVK Go-Kart Swap Meet, February 4th, 2023. Register online at ovk.com.
Hannah Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
Four-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com.
So as we're walking around here in the paddock to try and see who we can chat with here, some issues it looks like for Adam Brickley's go-kart there that we can see a lot of fluids down on the ground for him. And here's Dalton Haynes. Well, we want to get a bit of an answer of what he's got. He's got fresh tires, but kind of going in blind. He's here with Caleb.
All right, Dalton, just tell us what happened in the heat race and what happened to you there on the start.
Yeah, so in the first heat, I just had engine problems, you know. I mean, I heard like a clacking noise in the last race. Like it did not sound good. So as soon as the engine's fine, I have new tires. That's about it. I mean,
so you got the fresh tires. You're not going to be in the most ideal starting spot. You're going to be kind of back there towards the grid. I'm sure you saw on track just how hard it is to get a pass. You have to get your elbows out. Strategy going into this one?
Well, of course, it's hard to get a pass because they're all on the same tires, aren't they? All their tires are degrading very fast. You can see they're sliding going into the corners. They're all breaking, locking up the tires, heating up those rears, really killing them. And yeah, they know the track, but if I just stay consistent and just avoid on the start, just be careful on the start, you know, take it easy, then I'm just going to pick my way through. That's the only real game plan there is. Hope the setup that we have right now is good. I don't know if the setup's good or not because I haven't done I've done, I think, a lap and a half now. So I just have to hope the setup's good. They have a couple ideas that we see what the other teams are doing. So I think we're in the right area. It's just up to me, really. I mean, just like I said before, just take it easy on the start, pick my way through. There was a wreck on the start right in front of me. I didn't even try. I just let it happen.
All right, so Dalton Haynes, hoping the fresher tire is going to carry him this afternoon, or sorry, I should say tonight. We're going to talk to some more drivers as they go on, but the whistle did blow, so they got 10 minutes to make some last-minute changes. Xander?
Thanks, Caleb. So again, Dalton Haynes, like he said, a lap and a half is all he's got on those fresh MG yellows, and you can see everyone just kind of around his go-kart taking a look, getting the flashlights out, checking out what changes they want to make. At least he doesn't have any damage. That might not be the same case, though, for Adam Brickley. He got driven over there with Ryan Norberg, unfortunately. We haven't talked to Adam yet here tonight, and just a hard racing deal for the number one machine for Norberg as well. Here's a look at more stuff going on over in. This is the RPG camp. They are soaking the tires in ice water to try and cool them down. and then they're going to wipe them right back off once they're nice and cold, and try to put them back up onto the go-kart. So this is, again, just a huge operation they're trying to put together. They got 5 cars in the field, so they're doing this with a total of 20 total tires that they got to do, and holding that those 1 to 2 ice buckets to try and cool down. Crazy stuff there, just trying to give them an extra edge. And again, like Dalton said, they're heating them up. They're running now three total heat cycles on them, so that's a good amount of laps on the tires. Here's Hayden Jones's kart. And let's see if we can chat with the silent assassin himself. He's had a good run so far.
All right, yeah, we're here with Hayden Jones, second in the second heat. You've looked good all night. You've looked good all weekend. You guys obviously have your plan for tires. Confidence level going into this one?
Yeah, we had a lot of pace that last run. I got caught in a wreck in the first one, so I didn't look like I was as fast as I was. But, I had a lot of pace that last one, so I'm looking forward to keep it going.
Now the talk of the night, it's been easy to defend. Passing, it looked like you guys have to get your elbows out. Do you have a certain strategy that you do when you try to make a pass?
Not really. I haven't been in too many passing opportunities, but it is very difficult to pass.
All right, there it is. Hayden Jones hoping he can get maybe an extra $5,000 tonight, but we'll see here. Maybe we can talk to a couple other drivers here where the time is dwindling for them to work on their cards. Xander?
Thanks, Caleb. We'll keep the audio going on that camera so you can hear all that's going on. Also, all the drivers, the Race Hero live timing monitor has posted the starting lineup here for the main. So now we're going to know where everyone will line up for the feature. So let's take a look at it here again. For Race Hero, the final grid, Jeremy Fletcher, overall, solid run. He's going to get to line up on the pole. There is a look at the 322 Ryan Perry Motorsports camp. You can see they've got the right rear tire off it. They're looking like maybe checking around the front end. Maybe a couple adjustments there at the left front. We'll check out with them here in a moment. Alex Stanfield on the Team GWR Tony Kart will start alongside him. But here's our pole man, pole sitter for the main event. Jeremy Fletcher's down with Caleb.
All right, Jeremy, starting on pole position. A fantastic night compared to yesterday. You got all that hecticness behind you. It hasn't been the easiest to pass. It's very easy to defend. Do you think you're in the best position right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a good seat, but driving mistake cost me quite a bit in that heat race, but keep my head up and see what we can do.
Now, are you worried at the start they obviously changed it where you go down to the normal turn 1? Do you think it's going to be maybe getting a little bit of pile drive in the back, or do you think it's going to be a little bit cleaner?
I think it's going to be way cleaner than if they would have started directly into a hairpin, so it should be good.
All right, there it is. Jeremy Fletcher setting on pole position, trying to get that extra $5,000 for tonight. Xander?
$5,000, and then there's always a couple extra stipulations here we're waiting to hear on that could be really cool. So Jeremy Fletcher and Alex Stanfield, well, they're going to line up on the front row. There's a look at the Braden Eves camp and the MPG Motorsports boys. They're trying to work on him. He lines up 10th after the way the heat points went. I mean, that's how close all the heat points totaled up. Aiden Ingrata will start in third. Hayden Jones will roll off in fourth. Talk to him. Paulie Massimino rolls off P5 after his heroic drive back through the field there in heat number 2. Nate Cicero rolls off in 6th. Ben Cooper, heat 2 winner, rolls off in 7th. So Jeremy Fletcher with a heat race win and a really good second heat. This is going to change the dynamic here for this year. Here's Aiden Ingrata down with Caleb.
All right, and this is your first weekend that you're running in this category. The first time you're running the senior category, obviously the X30 Shootout. It's been a little hectic out there all over the track. Passing hasn't been the most ideal. What are your thoughts right now going into this feature?
I mean, I'm glad I survived the 2 heats. I mean, it's been very hectic. I mean, track is very tight. I mean, it's fun. We're trying to figure out the setup. I mean, we're struggling a little bit on pace, to be honest. In the beginning, it's fast. It's falling off a little bit, but I think we'll be good for the final. I think I should be in top 7, so it should be good.
You'll be in that mid-pack. You've been a little bit towards that front mid-pack all night long. It's not really the easiest to pass on track. Do you have any plans of how you're going to defend or try to pass, or any places that you like to pass on track?
I mean, first 2 corners, pretty good to pass. Obviously, the bowl, not really anywhere else. It's a blocking fest. It's easy to block on this layout, so it's definitely going to be very entertaining, this race, I feel like. No one's really going to pull away, I feel like, unless if it's a very big battle for second. But, yeah, I'm excited. It should be good, and I want to thank all the speed guys.
All right, there it is. The youngest driver in the field, Aiden Ingrata, starting the mid-pack, but thinks he's got a good chance at it. Xander?
Thanks, Caleb. Again, Aiden Ingrata rolling off not too bad. He had, like he said, survived the opening 2 heat races, so, he'll end up rolling off P3 inside row number 2. Here's a look back towards the Team GWR camp. They've got both Alex Stanfield and Connor Zilish. Zilish will roll off in 8th. Stanfield rolls off on the outside of the front row in 2nd alongside his former teammate in Jeremy Fletcher. Caleb?
All right, Alex, I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked your teammate former teammate of Jeremy Fletcher. You're starting in the front row. You got all that craziness behind you. Are you worried at all about getting taken out the first couple of corners? You think it's going to stay fairly clean?
I'm just trying to stay up front and not be in the carnage. Just try to get out front and push as best I can, and hopefully stay up there.
Now I'll ask you the same thing I also asked Aiden and Grata. Obviously, there's a lot of corners. It's a little bit tighter than normal. It's a lot of blocking, not a whole lot of passing. What parts of the track do you prefer as to pass as you would normally?
Definitely the end of the back straightaway. You can get it inside pretty good and then run them off in the bowl. And also the new hairpin out of the final corner. That's a pretty good passing place, but there's not very many.
Have you talked to Jeremy at all about trying to work out a strategy between you two? I know it's been a while, but you could work together.
I have not, but we'll see what we can do.
All right, there it is. Alex Stanfield starting on the front row next to his former teammate of Jeremy Fletcher. Xander?
They say keep your friends rich, your enemies rich, and find out which is which. And right now, there's only going to be one person that walks away with a lot of money. I don't think anyone will be friends. It'll all be enemies here. $5,000 up for grabs. Here's a look at the Adam Brickley camp. Lots of damage repairs going for the number 1. You can see they got the steering column out of the car, or the steering wheel off, so it looks like a new steering column. Potentially some more stuff in the front end they're trying to fix there to get him back out in the show. Adam Brickley, one of the many rookies that qualified to make the MG Tires X30 Pro Shootout here. Unfortunately, just was racing hard there, hanging on in that second heat race, had contact with Ryan Norberg, and now let's hear his side of it as he's standing along here with Caleb Smock.
The cart on the ground, leg up on the sand. They're changing the steering shaft, maybe even a rod. What happened, and what do you have to do here before we can get back underway?
Well, I think Ryan just thought I had a little bit more room, and I mean, it's not his fault. I kind of stayed there, and it was the outside. But, yeah, the steering shaft was bent, maybe some tie rods. The chassis may be a little bit bent, but hopefully we can get back out there.
Now, it seemed like there's been a lot more blocking than there has been passing. Are you confident that you'll be able to work your way up here, even with the damage that you have? Or think you maybe just have to hold on there and hope for something in the front?
I think I still may have a chance if there's a big wreck, and everybody's going to be blocking because it's $5,000, and so maybe.
All right, there it is, Adam Brickley. Little last-minute changes on the cart. Hopefully he can get it back underway here soon. Xander?
Thanks, Caleb, here. So going back through the field here, Braden Eves and Ryan Norberg, they'll line up 10th and 11th. Brian Boley will line up in 12th. Asher O'Hara Butcher will line up 13th. Brickley, who we just talked to, lines up on the outside of row 7 and 14th. Dalton Haynes rolls off tail end Charlie, of course. But again, he's got really fresh tires. Justin Anaconis will start to the inside of Eves on row number 5. Ben Cooper and Connor Zilish, row 4 against Cicero Massimino, row 3. Then Jones, Ingrata, Fletcher, and Stanfield. Little top off of fuel there for the Aiden Ingrata and Paulie Massimino camps, as the Speed Concepts Racing boys are still working on their go-karts to try and find a little more for them. Good to hear from Adam Brickley there. Still in good spirits and hoping to make it out here for the main. We've talked to just about everybody. One guy we haven't talked to is our Heat 2 winner here, Ben Cooper. He's talking with a few drivers under the RPG camp. And here's Justin Anaconis, who's had it looked like a good heat go until one minor mistake. But Ben Cooper, for the Masters guys, he walked out with a fake little extra limp, as if, he was that old, but he's not that old. He's got nobody fooled. This is a world-class driver here. Let's go ahead and talk with him, our Heat 2 winner, Ben Cooper. Caleb?
All right, Ben, now you claim that you're a master here running the master class. You come out and run with the seniors. Obviously put on the win here in the heat race number 1. You're going to be starting a little bit farther in the mid-pack. How do you think your chances are right now?
Not bad, I don't think. It depends how the race falls. It depends if there's a bit of a fight up front. Maybe some experience in my head can help me out. I want to go home and see my kids at the end of the weekend, so I'm not going to get too crazy out there. Hopefully I don't have a flat either. The last few laps of that race, I got a flat front tire for the last 4 laps, so I had to hold on for the win. We'll see.
Now let's talk about a minute for the pass of the night. You did a 2-for-1 special when you came out of that last hairpin, working your way through. Walk us through what happened there in those last couple of corners.
But I think it's just experience. I knew I had a bit of a gap behind me, so I didn't necessarily need to follow Hayden to the inside to go, defend my spot. So I knew they were both going to go tight because they knew I was there. So, high, wide, and getting back on the exit,
All right, there it is. One of the best passes we've seen tonight by one of the most veteran drivers that we have, starting the mid-pack here. Xander?
We'll send Caleb up to the top of the grid with the mic while everyone lines up. There's a special announcement we're going to have here at the front of the grid. So we're going to head up there here for just a moment, go quiet on the mics here and get set as the field is starting to come together here for the X30 Pro Shootout presented by MG Tires.
We on commercial bike? Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay. No, it is a little heavy.
Kenny on the camera.
Kenny on the camera. Bro, I feel bad for you yesterday.
Yeah, it's starting to hurt now, isn't it?
Yes. What?
Paging Alex Stanfield to the front of the grid. Paging Alex Stanfield and Team GWR camp to the front of the grid.
All right, everyone. So we've got a crazy last to front bounty challenge being offered to the front row, courtesy of GoPro Motorplex. A double or nothing offer, only exclusive to the front row. $5,000 is up for grabs here for Jeremy Fletcher and for Alex Stanfield. So Alex, you're starting second. Both of you could be eligible for the 10K if either you wins it. Are you down to go to the tail end of this 15-cart field?
No. No.
A no from Alex here. Let's see. Jeremy Fletcher, what are you doing? You're thinking about it.
Nah, I can't do it.
Oh, man, everybody's a little bit scared right now to go for the 10K. They got 5K still on the line. It could have been wild here, but for Alex Stanfield and Jeremy Fletcher, amid all of the jeers, these guys are going to go for it, and they line up on the front row. We're going to get set to go through and show you your starting lineup one more time.
Somebody's really happy they don't have to put up $10,000.
Man, you can't take these Team GWR Tony Kart guys anywhere, but hey, they got some decorations. Well, let's go. RPM to Ryan Perry Motorsports, Jeremy Fletcher. For a moment, it looked like the team wanted him to take that 10K bounty, all or nothing, to go to the tail of the field, but I think they feel like they got a much better chance with Jeremy starting from the front for 5. So that's where he's going to roll off. Alex Stanfield and the Team GWR Tony Kart to his outside. Again, both of these two, they split the KA Senior National titles this year. Now they're looking to go head-to-head for 5K and an X30 Pro Shootout win. Let's go back to the inside of row number 2. Well, Aiden Ingrata yet to get in his go-kart, but he's got one of the coolest schemes out there. With some light-up glow sticks on the side of the nose cone, the Speed Concept Racing CRG rolls off in third to the inside of row 2. Alongside him, Hayden Jones, like he said, thinks he's kind of under the radar. That's where he likes to be. Not really looking out for him, but he's got a lot of speed. Paulie Massimino in the 308 had a bad heat 2, got in a wreck, and still came through the field to a decent starting spot. Rolls to the inside of row number 3 as he fires up into his outside. It'll be the 382 of Nate Cicero. You go back further down the order here from Nate. Let's find the rest of the pack. Ben Cooper, heat 2 winner, $500 already. He could make it $5,500, just like Jeremy Fletcher could if he can get going from 7th. 8th on the grid, Connor Zillish, ready to go. 5K last night. He'd love another 5. That'd be pretty cool. And so we go back to the top 10. Justin Atakonis and everybody else will roll on by. Ryan Norberg fires up. Looked like he had a bit of an issue there. Rolls off 11th. It's showtime, Caleb.
Absolutely. And Xander, in your perspective, if you're on the front row, would you have gone for the extra 5K?
I was thinking about that when I gave it to Dan right there. I mean, it's a big field, and the thing is when they have those going double or nothing races on the dirt shows, they do that stuff every week. So if you lose it one week, you might win it the other. It's kind of like playing the odds. These guys only get to play this deal once a year, and there's a lot of bragging rights along with the money up for grabs. I know they'd be kicking themselves and they'd have a whole year to lose it versus a week. of being frustrated. So I love it. I love the offer from GoPro Motorplex. Hopefully we get to offer it to him again in 2023. But I don't know. I'd probably be in the same boat as those guys. Say, you know what? I haven't won this deal yet. Haven't won any big money this week. Let me at least get something.
Yeah, I probably would have been the same boat. That would have been, as soon as he offered it, sounds like a good idea, but you got 15 carts from the tightest tracks, as you said, too. It's an awesome deal if they offered. I'm sure at some point someone's going to pull it off. But with this layout and how the night's gone so far, it probably would have been a hard no for me as well.
Well, it's a long 15 laps that these guys and girls are going to get after it here. Ashley Rojero Butcher, after drawing the pole spot here, just couldn't seem to have anything but bad luck in both of her heat races. She's got to come through the field. Brayden Eves coming through. Ryan Norberg, so much speed here this week. He's got to come from way back. Jeremy Fletcher was not even in the top 10 after the opening 3 heat races on the weekend to get in. Got in on a promoter's pick. Alex Stanfield, on the other hand, he was really good through the heats today, especially. He's ready to go. Here we go with the overhead shot, and it's Jeremy Fletcher, Alex Stanfield, a senior rookie, a senior sophomore, looking to go green for $5,000, and we are underway down in turn number 1. Green flag in the air, and they're going to make it through up front. Eve's going to go wide, and there's contact in the back.
Yeah, it looked like one got turned around there farther in the field, but it looks like it is going to be Fletcher coming out on top. Now he's going to go under fire from his former teammate of Stanfield. 1-2 possible breakaway with those out in front.
Not sure who we lost. I think it might have been Adam Brickley, but I don't know. It was turned in the middle of the pack there, and here we go up the hill. First time down to the timing loop. Jeremy Fletcher leads over Alex Stanfield and company into the hairpin. They're single file. Ingrata is third. Hayden Jones is in fourth. Massimino is fifth, so the top 5's good. Connor Zilish making up a spot. He gets by Ben Cooper. Here comes Ryan Norberg trying to get on Zilish, getting on the outside of his teammate. Oh, yeah, that one got tight. And Cooper gives way. Norberg gets the spot from him. So the driver we lost that got turned, it looks like, was unfortunately Ashley Rojero Butcher potentially there that got turned and spun around on the first corner. But we're still green. Down to turn number 4 as the passes for third. Hayden Jones gets by on Aiden Ingrata.
Aiden Ingrata doing a fantastic job. Like we said, this is his first weekend in the senior category. Puts it up into the money show as they continue to go nose to tail out in front of both Jeremy Fletcher and Alex Stanfield. As we said before in the interview, asked them, are you guys going to work together? I think at this point they're going to have to, whether they want to or not, as right now they got Hayden Jones, the local, starting to breathe down their back right now.
Look at Norberg here. He's shuffling Connor Zilish to the wayside. Side by side, they're coming out of turn number 8 for Norberg and Zilish, and Norberg gets the job done for P6. So he's hunting forward now, or P7, sorry, for Ryan Norberg. Gets by on Connor Zilish. Now look at this. First time Alex Stanfield's got an opportunity for the lead. Cannot get it done. Jeremy Fletcher holds the outside. Here comes Hayden Jones. They're going to all block. Stanfield almost takes him out in turn 4. Wow.
Hayden Jones went high, and here comes Ingrata into the back bumper.
He slams him off the racetrack.
I think he just carried too much speed, overestimated the corner, and now that's going to put Stanfield all the way in the back. And just like that, that's going to be a decent-sized lead there for Jeremy Fletcher. They're still going back and forth here into turn 1 of the mid-pack.
How does Paulie Massimino do it? Year after year, avoids all the carnage. He's up to second. The Speed Concepts Racing CRG now starting to hunt down Jeremy Fletcher after Aiden Ingrata absolutely pile-drived Alex Stanfield coming out of the bowl.
Yeah, and I think now that's going to be Hayden Jones is going to have to try to work back up. He's got his teammate behind him of Nate Cicero. Those two going nose to tail. But as you said before, somehow Paulie is always there as he is now trying to chase down the driver who could arguably say took his seat, is now going to be out in front of Jeremy Fletcher to make their way into the bull corner. But here comes Hayden Jones in company. He is bringing himself and his teammate of Cicero, and they're closing it up on the top 2.
Look at this here. All the RPG Cosmics are lining up. Hayden Jones, Nate Cicero, and Ryan Norberg, 3, 4, 5. Single file down to turn number 1. And they're all packing up. Massimino on the way to the lead. They're on the way to Massimino. Who gets there first? And at the end of that train, Connor Zilish on the Team GWR Tony Kart. Then Ben Cooper in 7. Then Brian Boley. Then Stanfield. After Stanfield, actually, he's down in 11th, sorry, with the way it's all shook out.
That's actually impressive that Stanfield was able to recover like that to get back up. He is only about 3 seconds off the pace after being out in front. So, I mean, it's very unfortunate to see, but he is in the mix, relatively speaking, inside the top 10 as we continue to watch. Man, that top 5 and 6 continue to get closer and closer every single lap as we're going to be looking at 10 laps to go here this time by.
Yeah, we're still early in this one here. 5 laps longer than the heat races, so lots of time to get after it. Jeremy Fletcher takes them down the front straightaway. Here they come down to turn number 1. Paulie Massimino closing in. How early does he want to pull the trigger for the lead? Hayden Jones there running third. Norberg was able to get around Cicero for fourth, just off screen. So good pass for Norberg. Now as the field continues to roll through that new backward section and over to what is the typical turn number 1. Up the hill we go towards the normal turn 3. And Paulie Massimino is going to be probably about a car length away from Fletcher by the end of the back straightaway.
I think if you're Massimino, you're going to have to make your move early, put a little bit of a distance between yourself and the Rawlson Performance Cosmics that are right behind him. So as soon as he has the opportunity, look for him to make a move on Fletcher. Fletcher may have to go on the defensive here early as they make their way. 9 laps to go. Laps are starting to tick away.
He's already been defensive, not in the form of blocking low, but in the form of holding the outside on passes here. As Norberg for third gets by on Hayden Jones. Ryan Norberg claws his way up the order, methodically cutting his way towards the lead. 8.5 to go here, and Jeremy Fletcher knows Massimino's coming, and I can tell you Fletcher's going to put up a fight. You thought John Burke was willing to get after it last night. Well, Fletcher's got that level of aggression, it looks like, here tonight as well, because, again, every time Alex Stanfield or anyone else got near him, he was willing to just fight that pass, stay in the lead. That's all he's got to do is stay in the lead till the laps wind down, and he was able to do that with Stanfield. Can he do that here with Massimino, who makes a little mistake there coming out of the pole section and has to make up for it here in the final turn.
And it looks like as well, Ryan Norberg starting to close up onto Massimino along with Fletcher. Thought about trying to get his nose in there in the first hairpin. Continues to close back up as there's another pass there too. Cicero able to get around Jones. Here comes Zilich trying to do a crossover move. He couldn't get it done. Falls back into line.
Yeah, just trying to look for a way by there as Norberg and Massimino both close into Fletcher and then kind of rubber band through that section there at the top of the hill. But Jeremy Fletcher doing a nice job not putting the wheel wrong in that RPM Tony Kart. Ryan Perry Motorsports, the team that Massimino drove for when he won the 5K here last year. Now, Norberg going by on Massimino. Massimino lets him go. Doesn't want to let Fletcher get away. So Fletcher has the reigning 7-time Pro Division champion who swept both the national titles this year, bearing down on him here for the lead and the win. Ryan Norberg to second. Jeremy Fletcher leads. 7 to go through turn 1. Norberg's close enough. Here he goes. Not this time, turn 8.
He's going to continue to follow him, and now Fletcher looks back to see that it is Ryan. He's probably going to start trying to white line it here soon. It is 8 laps to go now, 7 to go next time by. Still maybe a little bit too premature to start doing the hard blocks that we've seen. When you got a 7-time champion behind you and you're going for $5 grand, nothing is off the table as they make their way down into the run to turn number 3.
So down the backstretch here, Norberg, big run. Fletcher, does he know he's there? I don't think he does. Here comes Norberg to the inside, turn 4. New leader, Ryan Norberg gets through in the bowl. Can he walk away at this point here? That's been the story of the season. Jeremy Fletcher's right on him, a car length away. How far hard does he want it? Can't get there in the last turn. Norberg hangs on to the lead down to turn 1.
Here's one of the best opportunity for a dive bomb comes into play as the first 2 hairpins. Ryan doing a fantastic job again now as they go side by side in the back of the field. They're still going back and forth on it, trying to see it. It looks like there's right behind Zilich.
Got through to third as they all shuffle around Massimino. So Connor Zilich, what a run. He's got to P3, but Ryan Norberg starting to walk away from the race leader, or former race leader Jeremy Fletcher, who didn't know he was there. He needs a big run at him here down the backstretch to try and close that gap to Norberg.
Yes, let's see what the gap is now. It's about 2 car lengths. Norberg's not going to defend too hard. Fletcher is going to have to crank it up to 12 if he wants to try to catch back up. You can't let him run away. If he does, he is Mr. Consistent, so he'll continue to walk away from it. It is 5 laps to go now, and I think Fletcher is probably going to have to be wheeling it for all he can.
Connor Zilich was hoping that they would fight Norberg a little bit more so he could get there and get a shot at him. Fletcher just went in too deep down to turn number 1. Couldn't hang on to the car. Went a little bit sideways. Zilich there running P3. Massimino P4. 5 to go here. Norberg starting to pull away up the hill. They go single file here. Massimino hanging on. Jones hanging on.
So now they're going to make their way through again. That is Massimino on back with Hayden Jones behind them. That's the battle for the 4th position, but 4th place doesn't pay anything. Right now, Connor Zilich inching his way through. I think he was hoping that maybe Fletcher, like you said, would put the pressure on Norberg just a little bit more, not to maybe pass back and forth, but just enough to back the field up. With 4 laps to go this next time by, it looks like Fletcher's not in drafting distance, so it may be smooth sailing here for Ryan Norberg.
Let's see what the lap times look like this time by the start-finish line. Is there anything that's going to happen here on this final circuit? 4 laps to go. Coming down to it, Connor Zilich, a 10th better than Ryan Norberg. He's the fastest on the racetrack. He's half a second better than Jeremy Fletcher. but he's 1.4 seconds back. That's not enough time to hunt down Mr. 7-time here for the win and the $5,000. Norberg continuing to pull away as they go through the infield section.
Yes, we're now looking at Massimino and company on back again. That's Jones, followed by what I believe was former his teammate. Now I think it may be Ben Cooper up behind him as well. So Ben Cooper making some good strides, making his way up through the field. But again, this mid-pack battle doesn't quite mean a whole lot since the top three are way out in front.
Yeah, Ben Cooper's riding by himself there in the 5th spot. Here we go, 3 to go, this time by Massimino getting reeled back in by Jones, and Cooper battling there with Nate Cicero. Cicero goes by. Cooper said, I want to go home to my kids here after this weekend, so he's just going to try and, I think, ride this one to the finish, keep that X30 Masters potential race-winning go-kart all together. Norberg pulling away here, 3 laps to go in the X30 Pro main event. Battle coming for second for the next bit of the money. It does not just only pay to the win, it pays down to second and third as well as Norberg heads up the hill. And Jeremy Fletcher, if he wants to hang on for a little more change, he's going to have to fend off Connor Zilish, who's looking for one heck of a payday here this weekend. 1 car length back, fastest driver on the racetrack, Connor Zilish on the bumper.
Yeah, Zilish again had to play the long-term game. He only did about a half a lap during practice, so he had to do a whole new learning curve during heat race number 1. Saved his tires for the end. Right now he is going to be putting the pressure on to Jeremy Fletcher this time across the line. Look for 2 laps to go, but I don't think he has enough time to catch back up to your leader, as it looks like Fletcher already going the defensive coming out of turn number 1.
Lots of contact back in the field there. Looks like, I believe, Alex Stanfield got into it with a couple. Adam Brickley got collected there. So that was in the mid-pack that just exploded behind Ben Cooper and Nate Cicero. Brian Boley, Adam Brickley, Alex Stanfield all going way wide, allowed Aiden Ingrata to get back underneath them. And with a lap and a half to go here, Ryan Norberg coming to the white flag this time, coming to $5,000. Here's Zilish on Fletcher. Fletcher going to block to the inside. Zilish goes around the outside. Fletcher runs him wide, keeps him there here to the final corner.
Now Zilish is going to try for the crossover move. Good shot of the leader, but let's watch this battle for second as they're going nose to tail, still in the draft, making their way down into that final corner. Let's see if Zilish tries to pop out for a dive bomb to the hairpin, sets him up for a crossover, and let's see if it's going to work out for him. Wide goes Fletcher. Zilish is going to try another crossover, coming out of 3 side by side, and here comes Massimino.
Paulie Massimino going to cut Zilish a break there, falls back into 4th, has Jones on the bumper. Zilish might have gone a little bit too early on that one there with Jeremy Fletcher, but he's got a good run at him towards the run on the backstretch here for the final time. Up the hill, 2, and then over to 3. It'll be a big run for Zilish and into the final couple corners. Here he comes. Run on Fletcher. Fletcher goes low. Zilish has to go low to block. Opens up a little. Tries to muscle him. Meanwhile, up front, going to the final corner here. The battle for second rages on. There they go. Fletcher up the hill, and Ryan Norberg rounds the last turn. He will cash $5,000 in the RPG gang with Jeremy Fletcher second and Zilish third. And look at this. Look at everybody that just blew the first corner trying to run it to the finish.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. If they maybe forgot that there was a corner, they're running down to the line, but they're now finding themselves in turn 1, trying to see if we can't get a name to the carts that are out there, the 3 that were involved.
Well, that was Zilish, I think, that went through. I think Massimino went through also. All we're trying to out-break each other. Hayden Jones might have gone through, but there's a look at it. A wrap-up of the day. Ryan Norberg's domination gets him one of the crown jewel events that he has yet to accomplish. Well, he's got it tonight. We're going to get down and have a word with him and some of the top finishers in that one. Jeremy Fletcher ends in second. Zilish third. Then you go back from there. Paulie Massimino 4th. Hayden Jones rounds the top 5 all the way to the rest of the top 10. Nate Cicero, Ben Cooper, Aiden Ingrata, Justin Ataconis, Alex Stanfield, your top 10. We'll take a commercial break when we come back. Post-race interviews from the MG Tires X30 Pro Shootout live from Mooresville, North Carolina here at GoPro Motorplex.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
The 2023 season is just around the corner, and if you're looking to buy, sell, connect, or learn, make plans to attend the 37th Annual OVK Go-Kart Swap Meet, February 4th, 2023. Register online at ovk.com.
Hannah Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
Four-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com.
Post-race interviews that we have lined up, our very own Xander Clements has caught up to the man who won yesterday but not able to win today, Connor Zilic. Xander?
Well, third place, Connor. No, it's not as much money as you like there. Walk me through that main event.
Yeah, I came into this and wanted a podium, and you know, I wish I could say I'm happy, but it's just unfortunate. I mean, I got behind Ryan, and you know, he kind of pulled me off the corner. I was like, all right, I should be able to get him down the straightaway, and we get on the straightaway, and he walked me down the straightaway too. So, you know, that was a good feeling for myself. But you know, I feel like I'm driving better than him. I got behind him, and he blew turn 4, and then he came into the last corner and blew the last corner, and then came into the first corner and blew the first corner. So, you know, I mean, good job to him. He won the race, but you know, it's just not a good look for our sport to have one team literally destroying the competition in all X30 classes. So, third place is good, but you know, you always want more.
All right, thanks then. Connor Zilic here. P3 tonight and in the money on the podium. We go on further back. Alex Stanfield. Alex, you had a bit of a rough ending to tonight, no doubt about it. We're up there, started on the front row. Walk me through what happened there early on.
Yeah, I was running second, and I guess Aiden Ingrado was behind me, and he decided not to use his brakes, went straight in the back of me, and took me out of contention, went from second to last, and then from there my race was ruined.
Unfortunate deal, obviously, here, though. But first-time part of the experience for both events, obviously, for you. Was it at least fun to get out there through the environment? Now that you're out, can you breathe, you know?
Yeah, it was a thrill out there. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen each lap. Great event, just unlucky.
That's Alex Stanfield here. Unfortunate here to end his night. Not exactly where he'd like to be as high up on the results sheet. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep going here as the results come on through. More drivers continuing to come through the scale line. Here's a look at Ryan Norberg as he works his way around. We'll see if we can talk with him and get a good shot at the man who just won $5,000 here. Ryan, it's not the first time you won big money, but congratulations. Obviously, walk us through that main event. You had to claw through from a decent ways back.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're starting 11th, and I know that's not a great spot to be in. After, you know, being in the back, both heats, we tried 2 different strategies with the gear like we were talking about earlier, and I decided the best was in the middle. And so that gave us, you know, the ability to pass some of the guys in the infield that were, you know, on a lower gear, and then also on the straightaway I was able to pass people on a higher gear, and I think that's what really did it. I was that in-between that was able to really make moves out there. And, yeah, I mean, we had pace all these heats. It's just I kept getting stuck, you know, stuck behind people. And so this time I got a few lucky breaks here and there with drivers running off. And then I was catching people in places they weren't predicting, I guess, you know, and they didn't block. And so once I got by, I knew that, you know, I had to defend a few corners on Jeremy. And then, you know, I made it through the infield section, made it out of there clean. And from that point on, I'm like, I know I got him on the straightaway, and I look back and there's a big gap. I don't know what happened, but at that point it was just head down and keep digging.
Well, it's already been a perfect start to the weekend, and it wasn't perfect through the shootout, but nobody is. But you finally crossed this one. Do you feel a little bit relieved with the monkey off your back after the result last year?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But, I mean, I didn't get out of here without, you know, any problems. I think the chassis bent a few mil as well after that crash in the pre-final. I mean, I was testing it on the grid, and it wasn't straight. But, yeah, I mean, monkey's off my back. I'm happy with it. $5,000 is great. I mean, that's a nice way. This is a very stressful race. I don't think anybody understands. Like, for like an hour, you're just on like the highest intensity possible and just freaking out about everything. So to get honed in and be able to come back and pass some people after crashing in that last heat was definitely fun.
Awesome stuff. Congratulations, Ryan Norberg, our X30 Pro Shootout winner. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, man.
All right, again, Ryan Norberg here. We'll see if we can catch up with Jeremy Fletcher. We've got some more drivers all hanging around to talk to as we go on through. Here's Jeremy coming on through. Jeremy Fletcher in the Ryan Perry Motorsports Tony Kart. Jeremy led early, did all you could, and then ultimately there just one spot shy of 5K.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't no competing. I mean, he got by. I tried to stay with him, missed the corner, but it's not even. I couldn't even compare.
Yeah, unfortunate deal there in it. And, again, did you even get a good view of what happened with Alex right behind you as well with his whole deal?
I felt it, but I didn't really see anything.
All right, Jeremy Fletcher here, P2 tonight on the X30 Shootout. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
All right, again, Jeremy Fletcher in it here in this one. And, again, that wraps up all the post-race interviews we got. We're going to send it over to Kayla before we wrap the show.
Thank you, Xander. Getting another perspective here from some of the drivers. Some guys maybe not too happy with the result. Obviously, Ryan Norberg couldn't be happier, coming home $5,000 richer. And again, they pay back all the way to the top 3. And that is, like Xander said, going to do it here for the post-race interviews. As we are now about to see if we can't get Xander back up in the booth here soon. And again, this is another beautiful shot here this afternoon of what has gone on here. A little bit hectic at night, as you heard from Ryan Norberg. He came out $5,000 richer, but at the same time, he said this chassis may be bit just a little bit. That's more pressure on the teams here that they're going to have to work overnight to try to make sure everything is set up for the morning. And overall, another experience of here at the IAME Grand second edition. Didn't disappoint. High energy, and it was all sorts of craziness all night long, especially with this brand new track layout that they have. And it's something that never seems to fail here of everything that happens so far, Xander.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of everything here. This was the first time with this layout. There was a lot of questions about it. I mean, it was the most different from the standard layout that we've seen so far. So that was a big challenge for the drivers. Nobody really knew where the gearing was going to go. You heard from Ryan. He went on both ends of the extremes and then kind of shot the middle to use the heat races as test sessions and survived. And then here tonight, not as much fireworks in the main event, lots of fireworks in the heat races, a little bit going on. And again, it all adds on to the storylines that goes into tomorrow. That signs us off here for tonight from the beautiful GoPro Motorplex. What an awesome shot we had overhead earlier on. And again, the IAME USA Grand National Championship presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. There is still one more day of action. Pre-finals kick off tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m., I believe, Eastern Standard Time. Main events kick off around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. For those, you have to be a KC Premium member, but you can watch still for free on YouTube and Facebook for pre-final action to see where everyone lines up to go for big money, big checks, and big awards later on. That signs us off for tonight. Thanks for watching.